pronoun agreement, and the mirror rule. A single word can quietly confuse an entire paragraph. The sentence may begin with one person. Then, without warning, the pronoun starts talking about several people. Or the writer begins with we and suddenly switches to you. Most listeners may not immediately know what is wrong, but they can feel that something does not match. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to catch these hidden pronoun mistakes. You will learn how to connect every pronoun to the correct noun. You will also discover why words such as team, company, and committee can be surprisingly tricky. And near the end, I will give you a sentence with a distorted reflection. See whether you can repair it before I reveal the answer. Let us begin with a mirror. Imagine that a giant stands in front of a mirror. What should appear in the reflection? A giant. The mirror should not suddenly show a tiny kitten. That would not be a reflection. It would be a completely different creature. Pronouns work in the same way. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. Words such as he, she, it, they, we, and you are pronouns. The noun that a pronoun refers to is called its antecedent. Antecedent simply means the word that came before and gave the pronoun its identity. For example, the cacao bean develops its flavor during processing. The noun is bean. Bean is singular. Therefore, its pronoun must also be singular. We use its. Now listen to the plural version. The cacao beans develop their flavor during processing. The noun is beans. Beans is plural. Therefore, the pronoun must also be plural. We use their. The cacao bean develops its flavor. The cacao beans develop their flavor. The noun stands in front of the mirror. The pronoun is its reflection. They must match. This is called pronoun agreement. A singular noun needs a singular pronoun. A plural noun needs a plural pronoun. Consider this sentence. The bicycle lost their front wheel. What is the noun? Bicycle. How many bicycles are there? One, but the pronoun there is plural. The reflection does not match. The correct sentence is, the bicycle lost its front wheel. One bicycle, its wheel. Now consider this sentence. The students submitted her assignments before noon. The noun students is plural, but her refers to one female person. The sentence needs a plural pronoun. The students submitted their assignments before noon. Students and their noun match. Here is the first method to remember. Whenever you see a pronoun, look backward. Find the noun that the pronoun is replacing. Then ask, is that noun singular or plural? The answer will usually tell you which pronoun you need. However, some nouns can be deceptive. Consider words such as team, company, committee, family, jury, and audience. These words describe groups of people. Because several people are involved, you may be tempted to use a plural pronoun. But in formal American English, these collective nouns are usually treated as singular when the group acts as one unit. For example, the theater company announced its new season. The company includes many people. There may be actors, directors, designers, and stage managers. But the company is being discussed as one organization. Therefore, we use its. The theater company announced its new season. Not, the theater company announced their new season. Here's another example. The team changed its strategy during the second half. The team contains several players, but the sentence treats the team as one unit. So the pronoun is its. The committee published its final report. The jury reached its decision. The organization updated its policy. Each collective noun represents one group acting as a single unit. Therefore, each one receives a singular reflection. But pronoun agreement is not only about singular and plural nouns. It is also about keeping the same point of view. Imagine that a camera is recording a scene from one position. Halfway through the scene, the camera suddenly jumps into someone else's hands. The audience becomes confused. Pronouns can create the same problems. Consider this sentence. When we prepare for an important presentation, you should practice several times. The sentence begins with we. Then it suddenly switches to you. Who is the sentence talking about? Us or the listener? The perspective has changed. To keep the sentence consistent, we could say, when we prepare for an important presentation, we should practice several times. Now the pronouns match. We should practice. We could also write, when you prepare for an important presentation, you should practice several times. You prepare, you should practice. Either version can work. The problem is not choosing we or you. The problem is switching between them without a reason. Listen to another example. A person should carefully review your work before submitting it. The sentence begins with a person. Then it switches to your. The mirror has changed. One possible correction is, you should carefully review your work before submitting it. Another possible correction is, a person should carefully review their work before submitting it. The exact correction depends on the intended meaning, but the important principle remains the same. Keep the point of view consistent. If a paragraph begins with we, continue with we, us, and our. If it begins with you, continue with you and your. If it begins with they, continue with they, them, and their. Do not allow the pronouns to change identities in the middle of the paragraph. There is one more problem to watch for. Sometimes a pronoun could refer to more than one noun. Consider this sentence. When Maya spoke to Elena, she seemed nervous. Who seemed nervous? Maya or Elena? The pronoun she has two possible antecedents. The reflection is unclear because two people are standing in front of the mirror. To repair the sentence, replace the pronoun with the intended name. When Maya spoke to Elena, Maya seemed nervous. Or, when Maya spoke to Elena, Elena seemed nervous. A pronoun should not force the reader to guess. Its antecedent should be clear. Now it is time for the distorted reflection challenge. Listen carefully. The research team completed their investigation and published its findings. Can you hear the problem? The sentence begins with the collective noun team. Because the team is acting as one unit, the pronouns should remain singular. But the sentence first uses their and then uses its. The reflection changes halfway through. The corrected sentence is, the research team completed its investigation and published its findings. Team, its investigation, its findings. Everything matches. Here is another challenge. When we enter the laboratory, you must wear protective glasses. The sentence begins with we and changes to you. We can correct it by saying, when we enter the laboratory, we must wear protective glasses. Or, when you enter the laboratory, you must wear protective glasses. The camera now stays in one position. Here is the complete strategy. First, locate the pronoun. Second, find the noun it replaces. Third, decide whether that noun is singular or plural. Fourth, check whether the point of view remains consistent. And finally, make sure the pronoun has only one clear antecedent. Think of every pronoun as a reflection. A singular noun needs a singular reflection. A plural noun needs a plural reflection. A collective noun acting as one unit usually needs a singular reflection. And a paragraph that begins with, we should not suddenly transform into you. When the noun and pronoun match, the mirror is clear. When they do not match, the reflection becomes distorted. Now you know how to step in front of the mirror, examine the sentence, and make every reflection accurate.